We're going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious.
The United States has taken control of Venezuela, militarily, politically, and now economically. President Nicolas Maduro is in U.S. custody. American forces were on Venezuelan soil, and President Donald Trump has declared that Washington will run the country until a transition is completed. So they could very well return. For India, this is a moment of sharp contradiction. Publicly, New Delhi has expressed deep concern. Quietly, however, one of the biggest geopolitical shakeups in Latin America in decades may have unlocked a billion-dollar opportunity for Indian energy giants. So while India walks a diplomatic tightrope between Washington, D.C. and the global south, could Reliance Industries and ONGC Videsh be holding a golden ticket hidden inside Trump's Venezuela takeover? Hello and welcome. You're watching Statecraft with me, Geeta Mohan. India's response to U.S. action in Venezuela was measured to the point of caution. No condemnation, no invocation of international law, no reference to sovereignty or the UN Charter. Indian Ministry of External Affairs spoke of recent developments, neutral language for a full-scale military intervention, and the capture of a sitting head of state. The wording was deliberate. India expressed deep concern, said it was closely monitoring the evolving situation, urged dialogue, and underlined the safety of Indian nationals who are fewer than 100 people. What India did not do was name the United States of America. It did not criticize President Trump, and it did not align itself with the sharp denunciations issued by China, Russia, Brazil. Even Europe seemed largely divided by Trump's action. This silence is not confusion, it is calculation. India is negotiating a trade deal with the Trump administration. It is still smarting from 50% tariffs imposed by Washington, including penalties over Russian oil purchases. Delhi knows that public outrage today could translate into economic punishment tomorrow. But there is another reason for restraint, one that has nothing to do with diplomacy and everything to do with oil. Venezuela is not just another crisis zone. It holds the world's largest proven oil reserves, over 300 billion barrels. And buried under years of sanctions, mismanagement, and isolation are stranded Indian investments worth billions of dollars. At the center of the story is ONGC Videsh, India's overseas oil arm. For years, OVL has been trapped in Venezuela by US sanctions. Fields it owns are dry not because the oil isn't there, but because it could not bring in rigs, equipment, or even audit its accounts. Then there is the money Venezuela owes India, over $536 million in unpaid dividends up to 2014, and nearly the same amount again for the years after that, frozen because Venezuelan authorities refused audits. In total, close to $1 billion locked away by sanctions and chaos. Trump's takeover of Venezuela changes the equation overnight. Under US control, sanctions are expected to be selectively eased. American oil majors are already set to return. Infrastructure will be refurbished, exports restarted, and critically, companies that were previously blocked may now be allowed to operate under US licenses. From stranded assets to 100,000 barrels per day, from frozen dividends to fresh cash flow, from sanctions paralysis to strategic leverage. This is the hidden upside of Trump's Venezuela gamble. But it comes at a price. India will have to live with the contradiction, condemning instability in principle while quietly benefiting from its outcomes. Thank you for watching Statecraft.